Have you ever stopped to think about how you think? It seems like a simple question. We all think all the time. But what does it really mean to think critically? That's what we are going to explore on this journey of the mind. Fasten your seatbelts. In a world overflowing with information, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. We are bombarded with news, opinions, and advertisements, all vying for our attention. How do we navigate this complex landscape and make sound judgments? The answer lies in the power of critical thinking. Critical thinking is not about being negative or judgmental. It's about engaging with information actively and thoughtfully. It's a skill that empowers us to make better decisions, solve problems effectively, and navigate the complexities of the modern world. So join me as we delve into the fascinating realm of critical thinking. Together we'll uncover the tools and techniques that can help us become more discerning thinkers, ready to tackle any challenge that comes our way. Critical thinking is clear, rational thinking. It involves questioning information and not accepting things at face value. Imagine a detective at a crime scene. They don't just assume what happened. They gather evidence, analyze clues, and consider different possibilities. They ask questions like, what happened? Why did it happen? And what evidence supports this conclusion? That's what critical thinking is all about. It's about being curious, skeptical, and open-minded. It's about looking beyond the surface and digging deeper to understand the underlying issues. Critical thinking is a skill that can be learned and developed. It's like a muscle that gets stronger with exercise. The more you use it, the better you become at it. In today's fast-paced, information-saturated world, critical thinking is more important than ever. We are constantly bombarded with information from various sources: the internet, social media, television, and more. Not all of this information is accurate or reliable. We need to be able to filter through the noise and identify what's important and what's not. That's where critical thinking comes in. Critical thinking helps us to evaluate information, determine the credibility of sources and the validity of claims, solve problems, analyze situations, identify potential solutions, and make informed decisions. Make sound judgments, weigh evidence, consider different perspectives, and arrive at logical conclusions. Communicate effectively. Articulate our thoughts and ideas clearly and persuasively. In essence, critical thinking is an essential life skill for navigating the complexities of the 21st century. It empowers us to become informed, engaged, and responsible citizens. Our minds are powerful, but they are not perfect. We're all susceptible to cognitive biases, which are systematic errors in thinking that can lead to flawed judgments and poor decision-making. These biases are like mental shortcuts that our brains use to simplify information processing. While they can be helpful in some situations, they can also lead us astray. One common cognitive bias is confirmation bias. This is our tendency to seek out and interpret information in a way that confirms our existing beliefs. For example, if we believe that climate change is a hoax, we might be more likely to believe information that supports this view, even if it's not credible. Another common bias is the availability heuristic. This is our tendency to overestimate the likelihood of events that are easily recalled or vivid in our minds. For example, if we see a news report about a shark attack, we might be more afraid of swimming in the ocean, even though shark attacks are relatively rare. Section 5, Emotional Reasoning. Don't let feelings cloud your judgment. Emotions play a crucial role in our lives. They color our experiences, shape our relationships, and influence our decisions. However, when it comes to critical thinking, emotions can sometimes be a hindrance. Emotional reasoning occurs when we allow our feelings to dictate our thoughts and actions. For example, if we're feeling anxious about an upcoming presentation, we might start to doubt our abilities and convince ourselves that we're going to fail, even if we're well prepared. When we engage in emotional reasoning, we're essentially letting our feelings cloud our judgment. This can lead to irrational thoughts, impulsive decisions, and unnecessary stress. It's important to remember that our emotions, while valid, are not always reliable indicators of truth or reality. Section 6. Overcoming the lack of information. Seek and you shall find. Imagine trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle with missing pieces. It's frustrating, right? The same principle applies to critical thinking. We need adequate information to form sound judgments and make informed decisions. A lack of information can lead to assumptions, guesses, and ultimately inaccurate conclusions. It's like trying to navigate a maze in the dark. You might stumble upon the exit eventually, but it's much easier and more efficient to have a light to guide you. In today's digital age, we have access to more information than ever before. However, it's important to be discerning about the sources we consult. Not all information is created equal. Some sources are more reliable and trustworthy than others. Section 7. Strategies for sharpening your mind. Just as an athlete trains their body to perform at its best, we can train our minds to be sharper, more focused, and more adept at critical thinking. It's a process of continuous improvement, and it starts with adopting the right strategies. One of the most effective ways to enhance your critical thinking abilities is to cultivate a healthy skepticism. This doesn't mean being cynical or distrusting of everything you hear. It simply means approaching information with a questioning mind rather than passively accepting it at face value. Another powerful technique is to embrace diverse perspectives. Surrounding yourself with people who hold different viewpoints, backgrounds, and experiences can broaden your horizons and challenge you to see the world from different angles. Section 8. Asking the right questions, the cornerstone of critical thinking. Questions are the lifeblood of critical thinking. They are the tools we use to probe beneath the surface, challenge assumptions, and uncover hidden truths. Asking the right questions can be the difference between accepting a superficial explanation and delving into the heart of a matter. When confronted with a new piece of information, a claim or an argument, don't be afraid to ask questions like, what is the source of this information? Is this source credible and reliable? What evidence is there to support this claim? Are there any alternative explanations? What are the potential biases or agendas at play? By asking these probing questions, you can start to peel back the layers of an issue and gain a deeper understanding of its complexities. Section 9. Reflective thinking, your mind's mirror. Imagine a still pond reflecting the surrounding landscape. Reflective thinking is similar. It's the ability to step back from our thoughts and examine them objectively, like observing our own minds in a mirror. Reflective thinking involves self-awareness, paying attention to our own thoughts, feelings, and biases. Metacognition, thinking about our own thinking processes. Self-evaluation, assessing our own strengths and weaknesses as thinkers. By engaging in reflective thinking, we can identify areas where our thinking might be biased or flawed, and we can develop strategies to overcome these limitations. Section 10. Critical thinking in action, real-world applications. Critical thinking isn't just an abstract concept confined to textbooks and classrooms. It's a practical skill with real-world applications in virtually every aspect of our lives. Here are a few examples of how critical thinking can be used in everyday situations. Evaluating news articles, determining the credibility of news sources and identifying potential biases in reporting. Making health decisions, researching different treatment options, weighing the risks and benefits, and making informed choices about our health. Managing finances, creating a budget, saving for the future, and making sound investment decisions. Solving problems at work, identifying the root cause of a problem, brainstorming potential solutions, and implementing the most effective course of action. These are just a few examples of how critical thinking can empower us to make better decisions, solve problems more effectively, and navigate the complexities of modern life. Section 11. Conclusion. Embrace the power of a critical mind. In a world awash in information, misinformation, and ever-increasing complexity, critical thinking is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the compass that guides us through the maze of choices, the shield that protects us from manipulation, and the key that unlocks our potential as informed, engaged, and discerning individuals. Cultivating a critical mind is a journey, not a destination. It's an ongoing process of learning, questioning, and refining our thinking. But the rewards are well worth the effort. By embracing the power of critical thinking, we empower ourselves to live more meaningful, fulfilling, and impactful lives. So I encourage you to embrace curiosity, challenge assumptions, and never stop asking questions. The world needs your critical mind.